An easy way to think about pre-college programs is to think of them as structured opportunities that you get to have to experience college life at a given institution. So that could be the broader umbrella of a pre-college program. And underneath that umbrella, you have different types of opportunities available to you. Max kind of alluded to some of these opportunities just a little bit ago. They include visit days, open houses, maybe preview days. They also include fly-in or drive-in programs. There might be longer residential summer programs available to you. And then some college access organizations may offer pre-college programs as well. So those are going to be some of the more commonly referred to programs that you may hear about when you start looking into pre-college program opportunities. These programs are available to, or can be available to everyone. They're not just available to seniors or to students who can pay the full cost of attending these programs. A lot of the programs that you will hear about this evening are open to students of all age ranges or all grade levels within high school. So it's important to know that if you want to do a pre-college program when you're in ninth or 10th grade, some schools within the Stars College Network will allow you to do so. So they are not just limited to current seniors or rising seniors. The length of pre-college programs can also vary quite a bit. So some of the opportunities that I mentioned, like visit days or open houses, as you can imagine, those are typically just limited to one day. We'll talk about those a little bit later on in the webinar. You may have some programs that are more in the middle. They may offer you a couple of nights to stay on campus through a fly-in program. And then we have some longer residential programs that may allow you to be on a college campus for a week or a couple of weeks. These are really great ways for you to kind of test drive the college experience. They allow you to get a sense of what you like, maybe what you don't like. Many pre-college programs will have an academic component to them. And so if you are wanting to get a taste of what college level coursework could be like at a given institution, they can also be really good opportunities to pursue that as well. Something else I want to note here too is that funding can look very different across pre-college programs. As you are kind of looking at opportunities that are available to you, you might notice that some pre-college programs offer no financial assistance. Some may offer you a scholarship or some form of financial aid that will cover partly or the whole cost of attending the program. And then there will be other programs that will offer you full funding if you are selected to participate. So just like the length varies school to school and program to program, funding can also vary program to program too. So it's always important to just keep an eye on the information in front of you and read the emails you're getting and kind of have a sense of what each program may look like. On the screen, there are a few different options for summer programs that are going to be happening at institutions within the Stars College Network for summer 2026. You'll hear about a few of these in the upcoming slides, but schools like WashU, UChicago, Yale, Vanderbilt, Northwestern, Auburn, Dartmouth, University of Notre Dame, these are all schools that you can participate at a pre-college program for. And so hopefully you'll like more of what you hear in the next few slides. Max, we can go ahead and go to the next one. Before we kind of jump into specific programs, though, I just want to kind of reiterate something Max was saying earlier. You all are most likely familiar with the Stars College Network website if you registered for the webinar and are here this evening. But just as a small reminder, you can find information about these pre-college programs on the Stars College Network website under the events page. So if you scan the QR code, it will take you directly to that page. This screenshot that you see here is actually very recent. All three of these programs should be on the Stars College Network website right now if you are interested in learning more about those. But I do recommend that you bookmark this page, visit it frequently, especially in the coming months. You'll see more and more programs added. This is really just a great place to get information about programs that you may be interested in. And now I will hand it off to Dakota to talk about one of these opportunities happening at Yale this summer.
Yes, thanks, Kelsey. So obviously, I don't work at Yale. I work at WashU, but we're going to highlight here in the next few slides quite a few of the pre-college programs being offered during the summer months by STARS member institutions. And so I'm going to kick it off by talking about the Yale Young Global Scholars Program, which takes place at obviously Yale. This is a program that is currently for rising or for current 10th or 11th graders. So if you're a 10th or 11th grader, this is for you. This is a residential summer experience with three distinct sessions. You can see on there three different time frames or three different dates, all in July, I believe, mostly in July. Their website actually has information about which session overlaps with which type of with which date. The courses for the Yale Global Young Global Scholars Program include innovations in science and technology, literature and philosophy, and culture, politics, law, and economics. The cool thing about this program is that Yale actually sponsors students to actually attend this program, and they actually save spots for rural students. And so you have a chance to interact with all kinds of students from all different kinds of geographic locales, rural students and non-rural students in this program. For example, this past year, Yale offered spots to 10 rural students to join the program. All those students were all given scholarships to attend the YYGS for short, or the Yale Young Global Scholars Program. As you'll see here, this is a program that some STAR schools have their own new programs. They create brand new programs just for rural students. You'll see that with WashU, Northwestern U Chicago. Other programs like YYGS actually support students attending pre-existing programs. And so again, this program is not just for rural students, it's already in existence, but Yale does an amazing job offering scholarships to around 10 rural students every year to attend YYGS every summer. And again, the program is a residential summer experience. It's an interdisciplinary 2-week session. And the topics and the classes for each session are different. And their website, again, has that information on their website for which sessions go with which date. I will share that the deadline for this program is tomorrow. So if you are in grade 10 or 11, now's a chance to go and apply and learn more and apply before end of day tomorrow. If you're a 9th or 10th grader and want to consider this in the future, I definitely would bookmark that web page, do a Google alert for the application coming out, and apply next year for summer 2027. And the email address or the URL at the bottom, globalscholars.yale.edu, is a great place to learn more about YYGS and learn how to apply and more information about the different sessions.
Thank you so much, Dakota. I'm hopping back in here to talk a little bit about the University of Chicago's Emerging Rural Leaders Program. So this evening, you're going to hear about lots of different programs, each one run by a different institution, tons of awesome information out there. Realistically, you're going to find the most accurate information for the specific programs that you're looking for by directly going to any websites that are going to be linked to the STARS College Network. So like Dakota said, linking the YYGS website there, they'll have the full kind of list of requirements and materials needed in order to apply for that program. And oftentimes, they'll also list some contact information too. So if you have any particular questions or specific questions about any of the programs that we've mentioned, definitely dig in a little bit. And there are oftentimes going to be people that you can contact if you do have questions about what those experiences are going to look like, or what eligibility requirements are going to be. So I wanted to talk a bit about the Emerging Rural Leaders Program at U Chicago. This is a series of different programs. We have 3 different programs: Emerging Rural Leaders 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, each one available for students in different years. So if you are a current 9th grader, you would be eligible to apply for Emerging Rural Leaders 9th grade. That would happen the summer after your 9th grade year. For Emerging Rural Leaders 10th, that'll happen the summer after your 10th grade year, and then same for Emerging Rural Leaders 11th. So lots of different types of programs to choose from. They follow very similar structures. This is a 1-week immersive enrichment program for current high school students, where you're going to typically arrive at U Chicago, the city of Chicago, right around Sunday of these weeks, and then you'll fly out, you'll head off campus on the following Friday. So we have those specific dates up there. Emerging Rural Leaders 9th from July 26th to July 31st of 2026. For the 10th grade program, July 19th to the 24th. 12th grade from the 11th grade program from July 12th through the 17th. The programs themselves are oftentimes structured in similar ways. We want students to stay in the residential halls. You're going to be eating in the dining halls, connecting directly with current students and faculty members. But some of the specific focus is going to differ depending on the program itself. So for example, with the 11th grade program, we're doing a lot of work with students on thinking about their college applications, giving them some concrete workshops and information that they can take away from those sessions. We do a little bit of that with 9th and 10th grade programs as well. But for these students, you have lots of time to explore different options and will oftentimes have a slightly different focus. We also want you to enjoy your time in the city of Chicago as well. And we'll do things like head out and do an architecture boat tour on the Chicago River. We typically will take students so we can stop by, take some photos of the Bean, do some deep dish pizza, do a scavenger hunt around campus. It's a great way to not just learn about UChicago, connect directly with college faculty members, but then also get to know students from all across the United States. It's a really wonderful opportunity to spend and to have that week-long experience to get some of that exposure, and then take home with you some of those ideas that you learned during the program itself. So the applications themselves are actually open now. We had a soft launch today. So this means that we didn't publish any information. We haven't sent out any emails about our summer session programs quite yet, but everything is available on our website right now. You all are getting an exclusive look into the UChicago summer session programs kind of as they're rolling out. And typically those applications are going to be due in March. So you have a little bit of time to work on submitting materials. And if you do have any questions, we do have contact information for all three of those distinct programs. So feel free to reach out. We'd love to see some of you on campus in Chicago at some point in the near future. I'm going to pass things back over to Dakota.
Yes, thanks, Max. I am back, everyone, to talk about my own program this time, the WashU Rural Scholars Academy. We are now applications are actually open right now for our 4th cohort of Rural Scholars, which is very exciting. Our program is a residential pre-college program, very similar to what Max talked about at UChicago and what you'll hear from Kelsey next at Northwestern, but it's a residential pre-college program for rising high school juniors. It happens every summer. So for current high school sophomores, so if you're a high school sophomore, this is for you. This is a week-long pre-college program, so you'll be on our beautiful campus in St. Louis, living in the residence halls, and be able to explore St. Louis, explore WashU. You'll actually have a chance to have a really cool experience or workshop with faculty across our 4 undergraduate divisions, so arts and sciences, business, engineering, and art and design. You'll have a chance to meet faculty across all 4 of those schools, no matter what your major is, what you want your major to be, or what you want to study in college. And really importantly, you'll learn about highly sensitive admissions, how to apply to a place like WashU, Chicago, MIT, Northwestern, etc. You'll get a chance to create your college list, figure out how to actually create a list of colleges to apply to, how to narrow that list down. We'll do essay writing workshops. We'll have you do a one-on-one with one of our admissions officers, truly learn about your unique experience, how to tell your own story when you're applying to our schools. And again, you'll explore St. Louis and WashU with your peers and our rural peer ambassadors that are current undergraduate rural students at WashU come back for that week to live in the residence halls with you and guide you and mentor you through the process. So it's a really cool program. Again, we're in our 4th year and applications are currently open. They close March 1st. Our application simply asks for a transcript, one short answer essay, and then kind of contact info for a teacher at your high school. So hopefully, if you're a current high school sophomore, you will apply. If you're a freshman, again, we'll be open next year. So next fall, if you're a freshman now, you can apply next fall for summer 2027. And that's, again, the WashU Rural Scholars Academy. I will now pass it off to Kelsey at Northwestern.
Hi again, everyone. So you've heard about three really wonderful pre-college summer programs that are a bit more long-term residential programs. They have an academic component to them. And what I'm about to talk about is just a little different, another option to consider. Startup at Northwestern stands for Small Town and Rural Teen University Preparation Innovation Intensive, which is a very long name and why we affectionately refer to it as Startup. This is a 3-day program where rising seniors will stay at Northwestern's campus overnight. So if you're a current junior and you will start your senior year in high school in fall of 2026, this is something that you could potentially be eligible for. As I just mentioned, students will stay on campus. They also will attend workshops about the college admissions process, the financial aid process. They will get to explore our local community of Evanston. We bring students into Chicago so that they can see the city as well. But something that makes our program a little different is that students also are spending a lot of time at the garage at Northwestern, which is our hub on campus for student entrepreneurship and innovation. So this is a good fit, I think, for any rising senior, but I think can especially be a good fit for a student who has a flair for entrepreneurship, is interested in business. Maybe you're interested in creating your own startup project or startup company someday. Even if you're interested in things like engineering or technology, I think this program can be a really good fit for students with those types of interests. Something, really cool about startup and why we continue to do it at Northwestern is, we recognize that a lot of the innate skills that rural students have, like grit and adaptability and tenacity, those are all things that are necessary traits to also have if you want to be in business or you want to be in entrepreneurship. And so this program is a really great opportunity for you to kind of hone those skills, build confidence in yourselves, and bring that back to your communities and even bring that with you into your college application process as you enter into your senior year. So if this sounds interesting to you or you know someone who might be interested in this program, startup this summer will be July 9th through July 11th. Applications are not quite open yet, but they will open in less than a week on January 12th. And so please keep an eye on the STARS College Network website for more information about the program and how to apply. And now I will pass it over to Nikki to talk about USC Bovard.
Hi, so I'm talking about USC Bovard, which I am not a rep from USC, but I have actually worked with the program because they do invite admission officers from other institutions to work with the students. It's for high school juniors in the US with financial need and a strong academic record. And it's a free program, year long, and it's kind of a hybrid program. So they have a 3-week summer residential intensive at USC's campus. So this is the part that you get to be on campus, you get to explore, you get to understand what USC's campus is like and really dive into life on campus, what the student involvement is like. You get to work with admission officers and financial aid and then do some test prep. It's really good for you to kind of dive into all of those things to help you with your application. And then you also have some virtual opportunities throughout this program after the in-person that you'll be working with advisors and you'll be working with other institutions. I know last year we had a program where they had a program where we're a part of it, and you just talk to different admission officers at different institutions. You're taught how to ask questions when you're meeting with an admission officer, which is really helpful. And they also provide you with ongoing one-on-one support throughout your senior year. And so this is a little bit more extended than some of the other programs that we have talked about, but it's a really good opportunity if you're looking for a little bit of the hybrid programs that might allow you to have some of that on-campus experience, but also then having that one-on-one later as well. And so just kind of keep that in mind if that's something that you're interested in. For the next slide, we have a program as well, which is MIT's summer programs, I believe is the next slide. So MIT has some summer programs. I'm going to start with Mite Summer. This is a 6-week residential summer program for high school juniors who are rising seniors. So again, it's the summer before your senior year. You'll see that a lot of the summer programs do tend to happen before your senior year. Not all, but that does tend to be pretty common. And it is specifically a little bit more for the students who are looking for science, engineering, and entrepreneurship. The program includes lab tours, social events, and then every week is a college admissions counseling workshop with the admissions office. So they're prioritizing rural students from these backgrounds, as does the USC. So all of these programs essentially are admitting students from backgrounds that have less exposure to the college campus and the college application process, which includes rural and small town students. This summer, we had quite a few students from rural America who were part of this program. Some of them, it was the first at MIT, at Boston, first time flying. So it was a really good opportunity for that. The deadline is February 1st. You fill out an application that includes essays, transcript, and letter of recommendations. And then we have Women in Technology, which is a 4-week residential summer program here. Again, high school juniors, rising seniors who live in the U.S. It specifically encourages young women and students who are from underserved areas, including rural and small town. Now, while they don't accept just with women, that is kind of where it was born from. And the deadline is December 15th. So for those of you who are past that deadline, unfortunately it was previously, but if it's something that you might be looking forward to, if you're a little bit younger, that's a program that you could certainly look into. There is, I think someone asked in the chat if there was any virtual programs. Mites has Mite Semester, which is instead of the summer program, it's all virtual. It lasts a little bit longer. It starts in the summer and then it goes through December where you're meeting every week. So Mite Summer, the in-person, you could also do the Mite Semester, which is virtual. And then the next program that we have on the next slide is for Vanderbilt, which Vanderbilt has a summer academy. Vanderbilt programs are for a wide range. I know some of you were asking about, do we have some programs for 9th and 10th graders? They do. And so this is a great opportunity for those of you who are starting and looking a little bit earlier. They have programs for rising 9th and 10th graders. In June and in July. And then they also have the programs for rising 11th and 12th graders in June and July as well. So you can see that they are kind of serving the wide range of students from all grades. And so it helps you if you want to apply one year, maybe that's really beneficial for you, or maybe you want to apply later on. When you're attending this program, you live on Vanderbilt's campus in the Commons. I just went to Vanderbilt's campus last summer. It's absolutely beautiful. You'll have a great time. And in their first year residential communities, they get to learn from Vanderbilt faculty members, and the community really hosts students from all different parts of the U.S. and different countries. So you'll be meeting students, you see that 46 states and 25 countries. So being able to really meet students from all different backgrounds. This is for students also from rural areas, because really what they're trying to do is help students from areas who maybe have less exposure, less of that expertise in really applying to college. And so this is a great opportunity for that. Priority window is open and closes January 14th. What that means is they're going to prioritize these applications. And then general rolling admissions is open January 15th. So what that means is after the priority deadline, you can still apply. You just won't have, it's more of a rolling admission basis. As you apply, they're going to review it, but they are going to prioritize the students that apply by that priority deadline.
This is me. I am so sorry. I was answering a question in the chat, so here we go. Yes, application process. There's actually quite a few questions about this earlier, about what it is that we are looking for when you are applying and how you get selected for these programs. So I want to start by saying that I'm actually going to go to the second bullet point there first, is that all these programs might have different applications. Some programs might require essays, some might not, some might ask for a transcript, some might not. And so think of this as a practice college application, whether you're a sophomore, junior, senior. Think of applying these programs as a practice college application, but just know that what all four of our schools require for the application might differ. Just like some of our schools might have different applications because we're not all in a common application. So just know that it's a good practice for you to really understand what the program you're applying for is asking for, and how to answer all their questions and get all the requirements turned in on time in an effective manner. So some things that we typically do look for, though, starting with academic achievement. So typically we'll ask for a GPA and or a transcript. Typically, most of us will ask for a transcript. If you've never asked for a transcript before, it's totally fine. You typically get that from your school counselor. So whoever your school counselor at your high school is, they can get your transcript for you. We also look at your most recent grade. So your transcript might maybe be from sophomore year, but the schools that want you to apply for your junior summer might ask for your most recent grades from that junior year, etc. And then some of us will ask for test scores, just like some schools are currently test optional across the country and across STARS network. Some are not. Some of the pre-college programs might ask for test scores, and some might not. Again, it just depends on the program that you're applying for. We usually ask for an activities list or a resume. We want to know what you're doing when you aren't eating, sleeping, or studying. So what you're involved in your school and local community is very important to us. Many of us will ask for a teacher or counselor recommendation. Again, that varies. WashU, again, we just want contact info for a teacher at your high school. Most other programs want a more formal counselor or teacher letter of recommendation. Again, that'll vary depending upon this program you're applying to. And then writing samples. Almost all of our programs will ask for a short answer or an essay response, or we'll ask you to turn in a graded essay from an English class or another class at your high school. So again, academic achievements is very important to us. Activities list, teacher or counselor relationships and how they talk about you is very important. And then lastly, writing sample. Those are the four main buckets that we're looking for. But again, the exact materials we want to see turned in will vary depending upon the program. I will say next, what happens next? There's usually three options. One, you're admitted, which is exciting and wonderful. Congrats to you. However, it's very important that you are actually checking the email that you applied with and responding to us in a timely manner. All four of us on this call can probably tell you a time when we offered admission to a student to a program, and we heard nothing for 4 weeks, and then we decided to give up their spot to somebody else. We are admitting you to our programs. You all will be college students in a few short years, so we are expecting you to be responsible and to reserve your spot and to submit any additional information that you need. It might be health insurance information, health history forms, parent might need to sign a waiver, etc. Please make sure you're doing that in a timely manner. You also can be waitlisted. That's kind of the middle ground option there. If you are waitlisted, it's very important that you are still checking your email and still checking the email that you applied with, because it's very possible that you'll come off that waitlist and we'll want to hear from you very quickly. And sadly, the last option is you might be denied. You might be told no, and that is okay. If you hear no, that's not for forever. That's just for this small, specialized, focused program. Students every year applied to these pre-college programs to WashU and might get denied and still end up coming to WashU down the road. Same with U Chicago, Northwestern, etc. These programs are very, very selective and very small. So a no to this program doesn't mean that it's a no to attending that school in the future whenever you reapply to that university. And while not all programs can provide feedback for those applicants who have been denied, it never hurts to ask. It never hurts to reach out and ask why you were denied, if they have any feedback for you regarding especially if it was your essay or your letters of rec from your teacher. Again, not all programs can share that feedback with you, but it doesn't hurt to ask them anyway and see if they can provide feedback for your application. Okay, I am now going to stop talking and pass it off to, I think, Nikki.
You are correct, Dakota, but you're making such great points. I want to reiterate that just because you didn't get into a program doesn't mean that you won't get into the institution or another program, so please just keep applying. I'm going to talk about flying and driving programs. So some of you I saw in the chat are saying, or in the questions, like, I'm a senior, what programs are for seniors or upcoming? So if you are looking for those types of programs. So there are fly-in programs for juniors, seniors, and MIT has a sophomore program. So it all kind of depends on what year you are. You would have to look at the specific programs themselves because I actually don't have the different years memorized based off of each institution. But basically what a fly-in or drive-in program is a program where the institution funds for you to fly in or drive in and stay at the institution for a couple of days. So we cover the cost of travel, meals, and housing for the students. Then you stay on campus or sometimes at a hotel near campus. And then you get to explore campus. You get to go into maybe labs or classrooms and have some college application workshops. So that's kind of like what the program looks like. It's usually a fun filled day where you're getting up early and going to bed late, and you get to just learn so much in the couple days about college campus and applying to school, applying to institutions. So the STARS member programs have fly-ins. You see that list there, a long fly-in, some drive-ins. Vanderbilt has a drive-in. There's also, I believe, the STARS, the Midwest visit day, and then there's visit days as well. So you just want to make sure that if that's something that you're interested in, those programs will be listed on the STARS College Network website. Each of them comes with their own application. Sometimes it might be a joint application where you will apply, you'll fill out an essay, and then that application goes to the respective institutions that you are looking to apply to. Usually it's an essay, transcript, perhaps a letter of recommendation, and they're generally due a couple months before the actual program itself. So when you see the STARS member programs, for example, STARS flying to Amherst, June, it happens in June. The STARS flying at Columbia, which I also saw mentioned there, is happening every October. So there's kind of a range of dates and class years that these fly-ins kind of cater to. But if you're interested in any of them or more than one of them, I say definitely take a look at the STARS College Network website.
Okay, and I will kind of round us out by talking about, thanks, Max, for talking about that last section or last category of pre-college programs. If you remember me talking earlier in this webinar, I mentioned that visit days and open houses, sometimes they may be called preview days, depending on the college, are also really wonderful opportunities that you can take advantage of, and they're open to everyone. Visit days are going to be a single day commitment that you or maybe you and your family are making to visit a given institution. They're typically offered in the fall or the spring. So in the fall, they might be available to students who have not yet submitted an application or who don't have an admission decision just yet. And they're really just trying to allow you to learn more about the institution. In the spring, they might be the same, or they might be geared more towards admitted students who are trying to make that decision of whether or not they want to enroll. So just kind of depending on where you're at in that college search process, whether you are a current senior, or maybe you are a bit younger and you're just wanting to do an open house anyway, these are going to be good opportunities for you to keep in mind. A visit day is typically going to also be jam-packed with information. They're really great ways to learn a lot of information about a university in a short period of time. You are generally going to go on a college tour. You might listen to a current student Q&A panel. You might get to listen in on a faculty panel or a mock class. If you want to learn more about specific departments at the university or college, you can also learn about studying abroad or research opportunities, or potentially even hear from the college's career advancement office. So a lot of different opportunities that can be offered there, again, kind of depending on how the day is structured and what the college is offering to you. These visits should always be free for you to attend. No one should be charging you to attend a visit day or an open house. And with that being said, some institutions may even offer a travel stipend for you to attend a visit day. This isn't going to be across the board at every single institution, but again, just important to kind of keep an eye on the information in front of you because you may be eligible for a travel stipend to visit, and you want to be sure that you can take advantage of that if you can. You can find these opportunities on a specific institution's website. That's going to be the best way to find these types of opportunities. Signing up for their mailing list is also going to be a great way to be, one of the first people to hear about these opportunities, as well. Now I will hand it off to Max to kind of close us out for the evening.
All right, here with just the last couple of bits of information and things to keep in mind as you're considering applying to summer or fly-in programs. I really appreciate all the points that my fellow panelists mentioned. Really want to emphasize that these opportunities, depending on the program, are going to be released and available on a rolling basis. So if there's anything that you all saw up on the screen, if there are any particular schools that you got really excited about seeing that they had a summer or fly-in program, keep an eye out on your emails, keep an eye out on the Stars College Network website. Oftentimes applications are going to be available for students a couple months in advance of the program itself. So if there's something coming down the line that you are, again, really excited about that you might be eligible for, definitely make sure that you are checking those emails because it's an important way not just to receive information about the programs as you are considering them, but also, especially as Dakota mentioned, as you are applying to these programs, treat this as a little mini college application process. Keeping an eye on your email is really, really important because that's where all the information about your decision is going to be coming through. We need students to respond to offers to join any of these programs. And again, a really great exercise, a little test run before you really start applying to college and going through that full process. Now, a couple other things to keep in mind. Eligibility, each one of these programs may have ever so slightly different eligibility requirements. We're answering a couple of questions in the Q&A about the definition of rule in which students may be eligible to apply. Oftentimes, we're going off of some form of the National Center for Education Statistics, locales of both town and rural. We do have, again, more information about those exact definitions on the Stars College Network websites. But national definitions are not all encompassing. We will oftentimes let students self-identify as rural, have different experiences that you want to share in your application. It's always worth reaching out. It's always worth getting in touch with somebody who may be in charge of reviewing those applications and is responsible for those programs. Every single program, again, may have slightly different materials. Just double check which programs you're applying to, and a good idea to keep an idea of what deadlines are going to look like and when you can expect decisions coming out. There are tons of amazing programs offered through the Stars College Network, but this is not an all-encompassing list. There are lots of other amazing programs that'll happen throughout the summer months. This is just one way that you all may choose to spend some time throughout the summer. We want to make sure that you're able to make the most of your high school experience, but also explore some other opportunities. So for example, through Gear Up, Upward Bound, Questbridge, they will also host programs that are absolutely worth exploring. So we've been answering some questions in the chat. If you have any other questions, feel free to continue using that chat. If there's anything that we want to answer live, we can do that as well. So if any of our panelists see anything that is really exciting to answer live, we can answer a couple of those. And in the meantime, I'll just head over to the QR code here that, again, is linking you back to the Stars College Network website. Check out that events tab. Make sure you're signed up for the mailing list. And we'll just double check a couple questions before logging off this evening.
I think one of the longer questions in the chat is kind of asking about the application process for these and what our role is. So to kind of clarify, usually each of these applications are generally hosted at each institution's individual website. There are a handful of programs, I believe U Chicago, Brown, and Amherst, who have a joint application for the fall fly-in, where you can apply with one application and it sends your application to those 3 institutions for that fly-in. But everything else is going to be on their websites. And our role really is to just share this information with you, because there's so many different summer programs. There's so many things available to you that I think that this is one location where, like, here, there's Yale Young Global Scholars, there's the Vanderbilt, there's all of these different opportunities, trying to share that with you in one place. As far as the emailing list, how do they find out about us? How are you going to find out? So kind of one of 2 ways. So the Stars College Network has the events. So you're not going to see some of these applications on the events tab just yet. But like when MIT's application opens up for our fly-in, then that would show up on our website, but also on the Stars College Network website, as does other institutions as well. And then you apply through those applications, but we also would be able to get your information through STARS if you're a member of the STARS College Network. And I would say you are considered members of the Stars College Network, not consumers. I guess you are consuming content, which is good. That's the whole point. And we love that you're here. So basically, I would say keep an eye out on your emails, because STARS does send out that information. Keep an eye out on the webpage. But if you're also interested, set a calendar on your whatever calendar that you're using to send you a reminder that, like, I know Columbia's fly-in application will open around June. And so I should apply for it then. And so these are things that you should check back for, but being on the STARS email list will also give you that information when it is available. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add, but I could not type that all out.
No, that was great. And there are a couple other questions that I also thought would be helpful to answer live. Questions a little bit about eligibility. Some programs are specifically looking to bring in students that may be in need of financial aid, whereas other programs may not have as much of that focus. So one program that I'm thinking of, for example, USC Bovard Scholars, is specifically looking for lower income rural students to bring to campus. Other programs may not have that as kind of explicit eligibility requirement or something that they're encouraging students to seek out. And the funding models are going to look different for different programs. So for example, some are going to be fully funded. Students don't need to submit any financial aid documents. With the UChicago Rural Summer programs, we're going to ask for some financial aid information. We can cover the full cost of the program itself, depending on income limits and thresholds. But it will, again, really just depend on the program that you are exploring. So if you are a student from a small town or rural area, if you are in high school, there's likely going to be at least a handful of summer programs or fly-ins that you would end up being eligible for. There's also a question a little while ago about how these applications are going to be reviewed and the kind of the considerations that we're making. Very similar to many of our undergraduate review processes, we're looking at your entire application. We want to see that you've been involved in high school. We'll really get the most out of these summer experiences and bring some of that information back to the communities that you are coming from. So oftentimes there's not really one particular thing that is going to set application apart or automatically admit you to any of these different programs. Generally, we want to see that you are being successful in your school, in your community, and excited to join us on campus for a duration of time. We got through lots of information today. If there's anything else that comes up at any point, again, feel free to dig through the applications themselves. If you have specific questions, reach out to those schools individually. But thank you all for joining this evening, and we hope to see you on our campuses in the very near future.